We want our dogs to respond to one verbal cue, right?
Down.
So just be careful of overshadowing, which may impact that. So dogs will usually go for whatever they find most noticeable or salient in the environment. So as an example, with a recall, it's very common that when we give a recall cue, your arms might be open, you might bend over, you might have treats in your hand. So the dog potentially is going to respond to that rather than that one verbal cue.
Come. Good.
A really common example of overshadowing is especially at classes where owners will give a verbal cue and their hand is kind of hovering around the treat pouch, or they might have treats in the hand. So that's overshadowing the verbal cue.
Down.
So similar to when I'm teaching stationary positions, sit and down, I'm very careful to have the verbal cue first, nice and clean, sit, and then the hand signal, the visual cue after the verbal cue. That visual cue for the dog is going to be the most prominent. So if I've constantly got the verbal and the visual at the same time,
Down.
it's going to be then very hard for the dog to just respond to the verbal cue alone, because the visual cue is going to be overshadowing that verbal cue. Hopefully that makes sense. So knowing about these things like overshadowing is going to really help you level up your training, keeping it nice and clean. You're going to get better results.